What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. My name is Nick, and I'm here with the gentleman, as always. Keelan, how you doing, man?
Can't complain, doing well. It's a pretty cool Wednesday out here.
Wonderful. And we got Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Man, just trying to get through this next one.
All right, fair enough. Hoping everybody out there is having a great evening, or whenever you're checking us out. We really appreciate it. If you like what we do here, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. It would really help us out. We're trying to grow our audience, and we can't do it without your help. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a Hulu movie that just recently came out a couple weeks ago called Self-Reliance. I usually have the thing pulled up for this, and I didn't do it, you guys. Can you believe it? I
How
am
dare
so
you?
unprepared, man.
No,
Jeez.
it's directed by and stars Jake Johnson.
Yes, it does. That's very good. Yeah, it is directed by Jake Johnson and written by Jake Johnson, and also stars Jake Johnson. Do you think he likes himself very
Who's
much?
Jake Johnson?
I don't know. It's apparently
He'll
the
be
guy
in
that's
this
in
movie.
this one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It also stars Jake Johnson, Andy Samberg, Bjorn Johnson, which is probably a father, maybe, and John Hans Tester. We also have Mary Holland, Emily Hampshire, and Anna Kendrick, who's not even on the billing for this.
Anna Kendrick, oh wow, that's crazy.
Oh, she's all the way down at the bottom. Damn, they
That's
did her wrong.
crazy. It is.
That's messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
ambiguous color guy is on there higher than she is.
Is she lower than Wayne Brady on the casting?
Oh, that's a good
Yes.
question. Let me check. Where is Wayne Brady? Wayne Brady is not on the casting, so she is not lower.
Wow. But you know what? He didn't choke a chick.
That's true. Sometimes he does need to, though. Yeah, guys. So this movie came out just recently. It says it's a 2023 movie, but I know that it came out this week. I believe it came out on January 12th. Yeah, so we're only 5 days away from that. So this will be your fair spoiler warning if you're interested in this movie and do not want to be spoiled. We are going to be talking about all of the plot points, all of the details, and if that's not something you're interested in, turn back now and come back to us when you're ready. If you
Just
don't
come
mind
back.
yeah, just come back. Just please come back. We're so very lonely. If you don't mind being spoiled or if you've seen the movie, join this conversation with us. Let us know what you think in the comments. We will be listening to those. If you feel like giving your input, we would love that. So without much further ado, gentlemen, let us talk about our first impressions of Self-Reliance on Hulu.
Oh wait, we didn't give a plot yet.
Oh, we didn't give the synopsis. You're right. All right. Sorry about that. Let me give you the synopsis for this movie. Given the opportunity to participate in a life or death reality game show, one man discovers there's a lot to live for.
So,
I guess that's fine enough. All right.
First
impression.
I'm not sure how that last part pans out. I'm playing it back in my head right now, but we'll talk about that through the time.
Yes.
Did he learn anything?
Hey, we will talk about that in a minute.
That's a very good question. All right.
Great
First
question.
impressions, gentlemen. Keelan, what did you think of this movie?
My first impression, I didn't watch the trailer. I saw that it was a Lonely Island production. I saw Andy Samberg and Anna Kendrick were in it, and I think it delivered in the ballpark of what I thought it would deliver. After I watched the movie, I saw a brief interview with the director, writer, and star. And
Was that Jake Johnson?
Yes, Jake Johnson, exactly. That's who it was.
Oh, Jake Johnson.
Yeah, Jake Johnson.
Yeah, Jake Johnson.
Uh-huh.
And so that was an interesting comical type interview, not really too serious. And what I gathered from that was this is one of those flicks that the director says, "Hey, I have a thing, I have an idea. They gave me a budget, I got approval, and these are the people I want, and I'm able to get the people I want." That usually...
And then he said to himself, "Who are the best 5 rappers of all time?"
That's right, Jake Johnson. But yes, Dylan. So what I'm getting at, and this is not a negative thing, is what I'm getting at is I think Jake Johnson got the opportunity to make a movie with the people he wanted in it, and he executed that. I actually had a little bit of fun watching this, and I actually think it delivered. Also, it's a Hulu movie. Hulu movies are usually experimental. This actually seemed a little more thought out than the average Hulu movie. So, yeah, I enjoyed this. I'm not sure if I can say I liked it. We'll see. We'll see what that's like by my rating. But I enjoyed this. It was different. It had some raz to it. And at the same time, it has some similarities of other things. But for the most part, first impression wise, I could actually watch this again, and I encourage people to give it a good look, check it out. So,
Now, you said that there was some raz to it, but was there some riz to it? Is the question. That's what all the
Little
young
bit.
people say.
yeah,
I hate that word, by the way.
we're right
What
there.
is that
You know
about?
why? Because I must be old. Because you know what I say? Just couldn't say charisma.
Oh, is that what it's supposed
Is
to
that
be?
where it's
Okay.
coming?
All
I
right.
That
assume,
makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
It
You
does
know,
make sense.
if I'm rizzing somebody up, I'm using my charisma to get their attention or to get them back to the, you know what I'm talking about? You know what
Okay.
I
I
ain't
never
saying?
even thought of that.
Oh, so I guess I'm the only one that actually understood what they meant by that.
Yeah.
To me, it was like, okay, I understand it, uh, but I must be getting old because I feel like it's lazy.
Well, you are the youngest of us, so that makes sense. You're
That
so
I actually
young.
get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to be.
whippersnapper.
Yeah. All right, Mike. What were your first impressions of this movie?
My absolute initial first impression was, what the hell, Nick?
Good. Good. I'm not
And
doing
then
my job if I don't get that reaction.
right. And then I was like, okay, let me check this out. So I was about 15 minutes in and I was like, this isn't too bad. I'm kind of interested in this. And then as it progressed, I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for the ride. So it's not a bad movie at all. Um, I thought all the acting was decent enough. You know, nothing blew my mind until all the craziness with what got his name, his interactions with James. Was that his name?
Yeah. James or Walter, Biff Whiff.
Right.
Oh, I want to, but because you bring him up, I just want to say Biff Whiff was the man in this movie.
Right.
I don't know if I know him from anywhere else, but he shut things down in this. I
Yeah.
appreciate his character.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I actually did enjoy this movie. I would probably recommend this to other people to watch just to give them something that's slightly different. And
Fresh.
it'll hold on to you because I definitely hated a few people in this movie.
For sure.
Fair
And
enough.
that's how you know a good character right there.
True. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, guys.
Mhm.
I enjoyed this movie too. The problem is that I realized there was something that could have made it so much better. And unfortunately, they didn't do it, and that's kind of what takes it a couple notches down for me. The enjoyment is still there. I do agree. I think Biff Whiff's the best character in the movie just because he's more of the comic relief than any of the other characters. The idea is actually really kind of cool. I like the story concept. I didn't necessarily see anything in the cinematography that wowed me, or the music design or sound design that wowed me, but that's okay. A good idea can be enough sometimes, but I will say that there's something that I think that it just completely falls flat on. And if they had just committed to the thing, it probably would have bumped this up at least 2 points uh, in my rating. So we'll get to that because I don't want to, I don't want to put that out right away, but we'll get towards that, and I'll let you guys know what would bump it up in the ratings. But yeah, decent movie. It's an hour and 25 minutes, so you're not going to be feeling the time sink or anything like that. It's not the funniest thing you might see, but it's still comedic, and it still has
Mhm.
a kind of a lightheartedness to it that was nice and refreshing. But then again, if they had handled the ending a little bit differently, it would have made it all that much more impactful. And
Agreed.
yeah, let's just get into the movie, guys. Let's start at the beginning.
In the beginning of this movie.
In the beginning of this movie, one man What's his name? Jake
Uh,
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah.
yeah.
Starring
JJ.
Jake Johnson, directed by Jake Johnson. Yeah.
You know,
You sure this
that's just
wasn't a
funny.
Stan Lee production?
I mean, it definitely felt like a self-insert. But yeah. So Jake is a guy that's kind of living in almost a Groundhog's Day-esque life. We see the first few sequences of the movie are him getting up repeatedly, hitting the alarm clock with the picture of his ex-girlfriend on the nightstand. And he's sort of numb. He's not doing anything. He's not risking anything. He lives a very NPC style life, I guess you could say. And that causes him to want to make a change. And that change manifests itself in a surprise limo that has Andy Samberg in it. So,
Right.
Keelan?
Yeah.
Random.
So before he goes to this limo or runs up on his limo, so day one, we see him go to his girlfriend's house, try to knock, doesn't, or attempt to, doesn't knock. We see him do it again day two, and when he leaves day two is when he comes up on the limo. What I was looking for a minute ago, I wanted to share is at the very beginning, what we get is a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson: "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment." That is the intro we get into the guy Thomas and what he's doing. So as he walks up on this limo, or this limo pulls up on him, it's kind of weird because he doesn't seem as startled as I personally think he should be by a stretch limo with his favorite celebrity pulling up on him. But he tells him, Andy Samberg tells him he's been selected. And he decides to jump in because, you know, he's being made to feel comfortable by his favorite celebrity, which is, you have to, in my opinion, you have to be a certain level of removed.
Red flag.
Yeah.
Super red flag.
There's no refusal of the call in this movie, that's for sure. He basically just gets in the limo and then everything starts. And I think that's probably has to do with the runtime. It's likely
runtime.
Well, I think it's likely that there was probably about 30 minutes cut from this movie.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, possible. Which means they did their work if they're following the guidelines that we've always set in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's very clear we get, and you don't really pick this up, but you realize this man is depressed. Like, you start to find that out very soon in the next few scenes, but he doesn't feel anything in this world. He is just lost. He's roaming.
He's existing.
Yeah, he's existing. There we go. He's just roaming in existence, but he's not living a life. After being told he's been selected, he's also told that he's been followed and I guess tracked by this company, stalked. Yeah, really stalked by this company. And they hired this celebrity to come and ask him to go on this adventure. They don't tell him anything about the adventure. The adventure starts with him getting in the vehicle, and then it's Andy Samberg asks him, "Do you want to continue on this adventure?" After letting him know he could possibly win $1 million if he stays alive for 30 days. So he already knows what he's up against. And then he goes, "Yes." And Andy Samberg looks at him in total confusion. No.
Yeah, why would you want to do that?
No.
Yeah.
And he's literally like, "You have time to back out of this." You know,
Clearly he's suicidal.
Clearly, very clearly. And so he says yes. Andy doesn't like it, but hey, he's being paid to take this kid and to say, you know, give him the information. Even though he's disappointed, he ends up taking him in the stretch. They drop him off at a red door, at a building with a red door. Andy even explains to him that he's not supposed to get in a limo with a strange celebrity on and then go to. You've been tracked by a company. He told him everything he needed to know to tell him to back out. This kid wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
He goes into this warehouse. He starts walking through this big, scary, abandoned warehouse. And yes, I'm using the word scary, not loosely, but literally, like as an adult male, which he also was. I don't think I even would have gotten the limo. Let's know be walking through this big old warehouse with no sounds and no one around.
Wait, you not sure?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that I almost was insulted that you said you're not sure. Like, what you mean? I'm not sure. Like, oh, I said that.
Yep.
Yeah. So if Lil Wayne pull up in a limo, hop in.
No, no, Dwayne Carter. and we both our birthdays is in the same. What's they call that?
Right.
That's how you know I don't care about all that.
We're gonna
But,
go meet my boss.
Yeah.
No,
No.
you won't get me.
You want to hang out with me, Lil Weezy? Get on out the limo and hang out right here.
Right.
We could pop chairs right here on this block that ain't nobody
Especially
else
it's an
on.
empty street too.
Yeah. Nope. Look, start singing as you walk away. No, 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 no. Anyway,
Man.
all right. So as he goes through this warehouse, he ends up meeting or walking into a room where there are two interviewers sitting there.
Question.
Yes.
Was anybody surprised that it was two Swedish guys?
No. Or surprised was your question. I wouldn't say surprised, but I
That's the
wasn't
way it
sure
kind
what
of
to
came up.
expect. Yeah, not when I saw them, no, I was not surprised, but I was not sure what to expect initially.
Well, if it's Swedish guys, you should expect a hostile sort of situation.
Right. Which
Yeah.
this kind of was. This is more of a predator situation, but similar.
Mm.
Maybe. Okay.
The Swedish guys' names are Magnus and Cowboy, by the way.
Magnus and Cowboy.
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh wait,
That's
so
not
Cowboy,
suspicious.
I didn't realize. So Cowboy was one of the interviewers, and he was the cowboy. So he's not even really Swedish.
Right. Right. Yeah. He's not
Yeah.
really sweet. It's just the other guy, I think.
I didn't even put that together until you just said that. I'm like, oh crap, that is the same dude. Anyway, so they explain that he is a part of a dark web game. So they tell him the truth, and he is told that everyone aside from him is safe. So basically, he's given a loophole, which is not rule number one, that if someone else is around and he's within striking distance of another person, they cannot kill him. They have to wait until he's alone. He doesn't take that as rule one. He takes that as a loophole. I forgot what rule number two was.
There was
Because
no
nothing
rule.
else mattered.
Yeah.
I thought there was, but yeah, but right, nothing else actually mattered. So they explain all this to him. He's told everyone except him is safe. Now hunters have to wait till he's alone. Oh, he's also told this isn't a rule, but this is just a reality of the game. The hunters could possibly never find him, and they could possibly not find his city as well, which to me doesn't make sense because they already know where you are. So I'm assuming if the hunters have already paid to be a part of this game, they just pay for more information, and that's how they know where you are, right? That makes
Well,
sense.
yeah. See, again. Well, right, because this sets up something that is actually not true about the game. It's the idea that there's anybody else playing the game.
Right.
There is nobody else playing the game.
It's just him.
Just him.
Are you sure?
Okay, dude.
Well, there's
I
a bunch
honestly,
of players, but he's the only contestant.
Are
Yeah.
you sure?
I don't think he was the
Nah.
only. Yes, I am. I will explain why. I don't think he was the only target. They had a participant book with his name on it. I think there were other targets. He was the only target that said yes, and because he said yes, they stopped tracking the other targets, or they just didn't offer them the game at that time. It's a dark web games. The way they're
Well,
the way they're putting it in front of us.
but we had two people who said they were playing the game.
I don't even know if that's true.
Only
Or
one of
playing
them we
AB.
know for sure wasn't.
Yeah. I think the second one was just a plant.
I don't think Gator. Yeah, I think. Oh, his name is not Gator in this. Charlie.
Gator don't play
Charlie,
that.
not that Gator. No, so the guy who plays Charlie in this, he's an actor and a rapper, and he's on the show. My name, Dave, Lil Dicky's show on FX.
Mhm.
He's one of the actors on that, so that's
Didn't
where
know.
I know him from. And he's been in a few movies. I want to say he was also in the House Party, the new House Party, which I didn't see. But either way, the irony is I actually saw this scene that he's in this movie. And
There is
like
no
some,
house party.
yeah, you're right. In some like interview or something they were doing about him recently, and I didn't know this was the movie. So when I saw the guy pop up, it was interesting. Even though I'm way ahead of us right now, let me get back to what I'm talking about. My point is what you were saying about the other player. I think what Nick could be right because the other hunters did say something later that made you think, well, why would they know that they even know each other? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I don't
yeah,
know if we're going to be able to keep the lid on
that's true.
the reveal of all of this stuff because it's just so integral with like the things that the story sets up.
Yeah.
But at the end, they do say that it was all him. It was all for him.
Yeah, it was all for him. Everything was
Yeah.
planned for him. And you
Right.
even consider one of the things that was said was even the cowboy and the cartoons, and you realize he woke up one morning watching cartoons. He woke up the next morning watching cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, were they even tracking him long, or did they really just choose him within a few weeks or a few days span? Let's see.
Well,
So
since
yeah,
his
he
cycle
says
was about
yes.
the same every day, it probably didn't take long to figure him out.
Probably not. That's what I'm thinking. Because
Well,
something that
there's no motivation for them to choose him at all. Like to do any of this, I don't understand. See, this is the thing. All right, I'm just gonna out and say it because I don't want to like just bury this until the last 10 minutes of the conversation. Just keep bringing it up. In this movie, they start to introduce the idea that he is schizophrenic and is having delusions of grandeur and hallucinating all this. I think they should have stuck with that. The
Yes,
fact that they backed out of it makes the story worse, in my opinion.
agreed.
Okay.
It would have been a more impactful story had everything had been going the way it was going, and then at the end, when he gets to the warehouse, nobody shows up.
I mean, that's what I thought they were about to do in the warehouse.
Me too.
The movie all but makes you believe that that's what's going to happen, and it's like
Yeah.
a reverse twist that happens where it's like, hey, we were leading you on, making you believe this for the entire movie, but then no, never mind. It was just
A
everybody
dramatic effect.
for some reason, two Swedish guys decided to throw him in an elaborate reality show where there are multiple people working on it and there are people trying to kill him but not really, and then his prize money is in Norwegian money. Like,
You don't have to get that part up yet.
I know but
it's the whole game's a scam. Basically.
Nah, it's fine to give it away.
yeah, it's just we can't talk about any of this without bringing that up because it's like it sets it up and then doesn't deliver. It just subverts your expectation, but it doesn't subvert it in a way that makes the story better. It kind of makes the story worse because then you're thinking, so they just did this all for him because he was a sad boy and didn't have any friends? What?
Well, no. So here,
Why?
I see how you could. I see how you saw it that way. How I saw it was, they did all this because they're just like kind of like Hostile, right? Or
Yeah.
Twisted Metal. No, not Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal's different. But either way, it's a game I was thinking. Death Race. Sorry, Death Race.
Mhm.
Where you have people who are just that twisted, like they're sadistic enough to kidnap people and force them to do these sadistic things.
Then you have to show it because the entire movie
gonna say
nobody
that,
gets
yeah.
hurt.
But that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, the
That's not
problem
true.
with that is,
He lost a tooth
Oh right. To
yeah, but
Ellen
he didn't
DeGeneres, yes.
to
Yeah.
Ellen DeGeneres, which makes sense too.
But it would have been more impactful to the story, I think, if you had another contestant that gets murked right in front of him so that he knows
Or
that it's
something.
for real. Or
Yeah.
something.
Well, and I think there. Okay, so let's blow through this real quick so we could get to what's her name, Maddie.
The
Because I think
rom-com.
Maddie. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think when it kind of got to that, which is when it got a little cool, a little better. But I think when it got to that, that's personally where I expected the blood to start showing up. I expected
something.
Maddie to be not a hunter. I expected her to just be a fucking psychopath.
Oh, right. Yeah. I mean, it
I
would have
think
been
she kind of
fine if
was.
it would have been fine if she was a hunter, but yeah, she is kind of a sociopath because she's only there because she's trying to entertain him. And you know what's
She's trying to
funny
find
is
some penis.
no, well, no,
Wait, what?
she said she was bored and she didn't necessarily believe him, but then when they meet the other dude, she believes him now all of a sudden.
She thought it was
Right.
a dating. She thought it was like a role playing dating type thing.
Yeah, but it would have been better if she had
That's
realized that it would have it's way thin. It would have been better if she realized that he was just crazy. And I feel like the movie kind of makes her realize that, and that's why she leaves him. Because
right.
The last thing she says is if we aren't together, they're going to kill you. And she says to him, I'm okay with you believing that.
Right. That's when they split up, not when they have the
Yes.
talk though at her door.
No, I know, but I'm just
But
anyway.
But
I
see,
get you. And
but
so
why
that's what,
would
but
the
that made me
mom
think
go
something
along
else.
with all this if she's
Because
uncomfortable with it?
because the mom's an enabler, and because Maddie is fucked up. That's why I wanted to get to Maddie, because I think there was also some things overlooked with Maddie. I really believe that the mental health aspect that Nick's touching on. I think that multiple characters in this movie had some mental health possibilities that they simply didn't move into. But like Nick's alluding to, I think it was in the original storyline, and then some things were changed. Because
Yeah.
why else? Like her mom. Okay, so real quick, because I before I start talking too much about her mom and all of that, because it won't make any sense.
Right.
We get through the first. He says
15
yes.
days.
Yeah, right. We blow through the first few days. So real quick, he tells his family, nobody believes him. Day 5, the house is broken into.
I hated his family.
Yeah, his family was trash.
Yeah.
Absolutely hated them. As
What?
human beings, as characters and actors, they did fine.
But they would make sense if he was mentally ill.
Right.
Because they've dealt with his shit for so long.
They just painted it as
What did they deal with though?
They deal with so what the movie paints it as is they've just been dealing with him being a flaky person. He doesn't try, he's not doing anything, he does the bare minimum. I agree with Nick that it would have been way crazy or way better had it come to like, are you on your meds? Like if one of his sisters at least asked that at it just one time in this entire movie, it would change everything.
Yeah, the way they handle him is that he's insane and they don't necessarily want to enable him, which that's oh yeah, but that's the reason that they're so standoffish with him, is because you could imagine that he's been having delusions of grandeur for a long time, and the recent breakup with his girlfriend set him off again. And now
said he's basically been having those same delusions with her for like what she say 6 years,
right?
But they've been broken up for like 2 years, didn't they? Didn't they say that?
At that point, they've been broken.
So,
well, no, maybe longer because the kid is 2.
No, the kid's 1.
Right.
Oh, okay, well the kid is 1, so okay, maybe 2 years then.
So I mean,
yeah, he could have been losing his mind for the last 2 years, and they've been watching him lose his mind for the last few years. So when he comes to them and says, "I'm a part of a game show and Andy Samberg, selected me," that's why they all look exhausted and skeptical.
Ridiculed him and everything.
Yeah.
However, if even with all of that being the case, if someone believes that if they're going to be away from one of you, they'll be killed, wouldn't you indulge that a little bit? Because that is your brother, that's your son.
It depends on how long you've been dealing with a mentally ill sibling.
I was waiting for a moment when one of the family members would have seen something to confirm what was going on, but the movie purposely doesn't do that.
Wouldn't let it.
Right.
And I thought it was going to be the brother-in-law.
Right. Me too.
From that's what I was going to bring up is the scene with his brother-in-law in the bathroom. Like I thought brother-in-law for sure was going to be like, hey, nah, folks shooting at him, buddy. Ain't no make-believe. It was a white man dressed as a cowboy in my backyard while I was sitting on the shitter. Right. That's the discussion I thought they were going to have.
Me too. Yeah. I thought somebody was going to see a murderer at some point, but literally no one sees one.
Best hunters in the world.
That's what makes you think, though, that it's all in his head.
That's exactly right. The movie, that is the, honestly, I guarantee what happened is that was the ending for the movie, and that was everything that it was setting up. And then a producer somewhere said, that's not a good ending. We don't like that. Change it.
I thought James was make-believe. I thought James should have been make-believe.
I started to think everybody was at one point.
Oh, the homeless person. Yeah. Me too. I thought he was make-believe as well.
Towards the end of the movie, when he was in the encampment, I was like, so he's just a crazy homeless guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And I was like, and he's got, but he supposedly has a really good job.
So I guess we see him go to the office a few times. Yeah.
Well, he got fired once he hired James to follow him around and started bringing James with him to work. He got fired.
Right.
So day 13, he hires James. That's when he's at the club. He gets attacked by Boban Marjanovic. I don't know what his name is in this, but the giant with the Thriller jacket or with the Michael Jackson jacket on.
The guy from John Wick.
Yeah, he's in a lot of movies, but Bobby is just a 7'5" monster. Sweet dude, apparently, like really nice guy.
I think you mean the "I'm Bad" jacket,
Right?
or was it "Beat It"?
That's
or
why I said
Beat It.
the
Beat
Michael
It.
Jackson jacket is what I said. But he loses his job after all of that. But yeah, he gets attacked. That's when he meets Maddie, who he believes is another participant. But again, we find out, he falls in love
From a
with Maddie.
Craigslist ad.
Yeah, he falls in love with Maddie, but she's just a big liar, and she's been playing him the whole time. She told him her dad died, they could team up. All of this was just lies and games. And that he was a veteran. They go into her little pottery barn, and he keeps finding these little black beads, and everywhere that something is open or broken, which starts to make him think that they're mini cameras.
Right.
I didn't think that was a bad angle, simply because how did the black bead get into her house? But it's still, they never really tried to bring it together. It was just
and they don't show you what
crumbs of things to confuse you.
Well, and then they don't show you what the black bead is, so it could be anything. It could be a pebble for all you know, and yeah, you can find a pebble at somebody's house at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah, it could just be in your shoe.
What
kind of trees do you have outside?
Yeah.
Maybe everybody has a turf. Turf has those little black beads in them. But yeah, so they discuss his ex, and she basically tells him in order to be her partner in this game, he has to go and make amends with his ex, which was weird because that's when I started thinking like, oh, she's really into this dude, but for why? Like, how did that?
But then she wasn't.
But then she wasn't. It was weird. Because it was almost like she wanted to be, but exactly what you said is like she started thinking he was crazy. But then, but at the same time, it's almost like she just felt remorseful for lying to him.
Well, it's actually the inverse of the entire the story, because what happens is she decides to leave him because she finds out it was real. And I think the real movie before it was screwed with was that she didn't that she may have believed him before and then finds out it's not real. And that's why she leaves. Because it just doesn't make sense that she would find out that it's real and then be like, "Oh, I'm leaving now."
Well, again, she seemed to me like kind of a sociopath. Like she wanted the attention of giving him the glory of having this role playing experience that he was looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think, what did he say he posted it on Reddit or something?
Yeah, some random forum. Yeah.
You met a person on Reddit that made a random post about being chased by people trying to kill him.
That's true.
You're either looking to bust a nut or you're trying to die.
Wow.
Yeah, that's extreme.
Is it?
Yeah.
You responded to a post about somebody saying they're being chased
I
by
believe I believe that the former is what the French call the little death. So
right.
Yeah.
That's what Shakespeare said it was.
Yes, he did. Yeah, so like Maddie basically bails because they find that there's another person that reaches out to him through the forum thread or whatever. And,
well, wait.
Yeah.
You jumping a little ahead because they have to get to the hotel first. Remember, the motel first.
Yeah, they spend like a week in the motel together.
Even, they spend a day. Oh no, you're right. They do.
No, it's a few days.
Yeah.
This is very passive aggressive. I forgot why I wrote that down. But anyway, let's see. Oh, Maddie is aggressive. Actually, she's 2024 aggressive.
She's the manic pixie dream girl. She's the this is taking off of the motifs of all of those movies, like 500 Days of Summer, or it's the girl that shakes up the dull guy's life and changes his life forever, and he falls in love with her. But she's flighty and kind of aloof and hard to grasp, and so that just makes him want her more. It's a very used, tired motif, which
sounds like an early 2000s movie to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very tired motif, which again made me believe that was just a subversion, and that he was actually crazy, and this wasn't a rom-com, which it eventually turns out to be.
Yeah. I kind of wish that their relationship started a different way, so we could have just thought he was a crazy stalking her, but that would have led to the mental health thing.
Right.
Kind of like I forgot the name of the movie. Never mind.
Well, while they're sleeping in bed and mom put a pillow between them, I wanted to bring that up too. Mom, so again, mom going along with it and thinking that she's going along with her daughter and just this role play dating thing made sense to me after I've realized. 'Cause at first I was like, why did she kick James out if she believes in this game? But when I found out what Maddie really was saying or thinking, according to what they said in the movie, that's when I realized, like, oh, so mom thought this was a dating thing and she already thought it was weird, but she's an enabler. But she wasn't letting this creepo sleep in her house because she's like, wait, this one might try to get me when I ain't looking.
Right.
And whether she right, wrong, whether that's a fair assessment or not, I think that's how she was looking at it.
Then how did the technicians get into Maddie's house?
But no,
This is
that
the
I was getting to be.
problem.
That's what I was coming to next.
Yeah.
But the weird thing is, you get this dude out. Do y'all not have an alarm system? Because apparently there's production ninjas everywhere, and they come after Maddie gets out of bed to get water, which is when I was like, oh, yep, she's a killer. She's a part of the game or something.
Right.
I thought that was a dream.
Right. Yeah.
The 7 times that the production assistants jumped out on him.
The
When they
ninja
came
Native
out,
American. Yeah.
I thought he was hallucinating too. I ain't gonna lie.
I thought he was dreaming because I was like,
Did a
this
peyote,
looks a little stupid.
right?
But then it was real, and I was like, okay.
oh boy from Stranger Things. Sup, bro?
Right.
Oh yeah, that is him, huh? Yep.
Hey Tom. But anyway, so
Argyle.
Argyle was his name in that.
Mhm.
Actually, that was him for
We got a
Halloween.
pizza guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pizza kid.
So he tells Maddie that he's being told that being at her house is not safe. And it's like, no, he said you're not safe, but that's not the point. They go to a motel. The maintenance guy walks in looking like Mario. Tommy goes off on him, making him the enemy, whether or not he was a killer or not. Day 16.
He
they
clearly
meet the new
wasn't a
player,
killer
Charlie.
because he knew that Maddie wasn't a part of the game.
Right.
All of the killers would know Maddie's not a part of the game. So Mario wasn't even a murderer. He was just the maintenance guy, like he said he was.
Right.
Yeah.
But afterwards, he was definitely trying to take him down.
Mm.
But that's because he put a target on his back. Anyway, because at the end, you got to remember, Mario's chasing him later
That's true.
in the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Day 16, they meet a new player. Name is Charlie. Charlie gives them the information on the game. Tells them that the game is a comedy where the hunters dress up, and it's called Dog: Delusions of Grandeur. This is when that theory, Nick, would have come full circle.
Yeah.
Like this
The
would have
movie
been
is
the smoking gun.
I mean, it's literally laying it at the audience's feet. It's all but saying it, and it's doing it in a kind of a good way because the juxtaposition of the very lighthearted rom-com saccharine middle of the movie, followed by this dark realization that everything he was saying and all of this crazy antics might not be real, and he's actually just a very sick man. That is a really powerful. And I think that it was a mistake to not follow through on that.
Yeah, I think it would have caused for a different level of discussion as well.
Yes.
But Maddie wants to leave. She never wanted to go from the beginning. She never wanted to leave the motel, but she doesn't want to go back to the motel. She wants to go home. She wants to go home alone. And she's okay with Tommy thinking that they're going to kill her if she's by herself. He goes home and he loses his mind. A limo shows up and the production assistants tell him to go outside, and we see Christopher Lloyd. And I was like, oh, they got a new celebrity, Christopher Lloyd. Wrong. It's not a celebrity. Christopher Lloyd is actually his dad.
That's what I thought too.
Right.
Bamboozled.
They got us. They got his dad. But he goes to see his dad, talks to his dad. His dad apologizes for being gone for so long, and his dad tells him that Wayne Brady came to see him and gave him this paper to read, or this note to come see him and put him on a private jet and yada, yada, yada. At the same time, Tommy not trying to have this heart-to-heart with his dad. He not in the mood for that shit. And he tells his dad, now, this is when you want to do it. I'm about to lose Madeline. And what dad is there to tell him is that Maddie is okay, which is ultimately confusing to him. And this is when I'm also thinking, like, so is Maddie's mom running the game? Or, like, what is going on here?
And why would this company bring his estranged father of 35 years to him in order to send a message about Maddie? Like, again, this is another brick in this is another brick in the wall of the hallucination theory. Like, he even tells his family that he saw his dad in a limo. and got a message from Wayne Brady. Like, it all sounds absolutely insane.
Sounds delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is about the point though where
No, I
didn't
guess
realize.
the company just flies his father in from some other part of the country, and then his father has no desire to see any of his other kids.
No, because he
No.
only cares about the one.
I wouldn't.
See
Yeah,
kids.
right. I guess, right.
But oh yeah. So after he talks to his dad, he gets all of that information. He then oh no, what I was gonna say is this is about the time where I personally was like, yeah, not this depression, like what's going on with this guy? And so you realize what my real theory is this is a guy who was so down on his luck, just shit was gone. It was going bad. And he could no longer feel. He was that depressed. He was that gone. Like Mike said a little earlier, he was ready to end it. And he took this risk to feel anything, and I mean anything at all.
Mhm.
Because at this point, everything, even within the game, has gone down. Um, he's told that Maddie is okay, which is even more confusing. And he still goes to see her, and she tells him the truth that she thought that the game was fake and that he was just trying to play out some romantic type role play dating, and it was something new for her to try because she's been lonely too. Um, whatever, dude. He ends up racing home because he's told that his mom is in danger. And he ends up getting caught by Ellen and smacked in the face with a bat and losing just one tooth. I feel like he should have lost more, but hey. But he gets home and it's an intervention, which is stupid because they even admit they don't think he's on drugs or anything like that.
Yeah. That one was hard. Like, and then this is where I feel like the scale starts to tip, where the movie's like reining back from the crazy thing, because now they're like, all right, well, we're adding too much to the assumptions here. Now we're going to have to go the other direction. And all of this crazy stuff is actually true, and it was the family that was wrong for some reason.
Somehow.
Which, to anybody who's witnessing what's going on, it's very safe to assume that this person is going through a mental crisis and
Right.
not actually a part of some TV show.
Yeah. And even if they are, guess what? They're still going through a mental crisis.
True. Fair enough. Yeah. Very true.
So let's see. Intervention. He runs away. James and he sit over at the homeless encampment. And that's when James tells him, my name's not really James, it's Walter.
That's when I was like, what?
Right? And I was
Yeah.
like, uh-oh, what's
Uh-oh.
going on here? And he goes, you just started calling me James and I just never corrected you. But as they're having these drunken laughter moments, Walter snaps out of it. And you realize Walter ain't drunk. And Walter tells him that he thinks he could win the game, that he just has to keep his head on straight.
What a bizarre thing.
What?
That was such a bizarre moment.
Right.
Yeah.
What was that supposed to mean?
Well, that was supposed to mean that Walter is also a player in the game, just like Charlie.
Right. Or that there was a moment in which Charlie, or what's his name? Charlie?
James.
Walter. Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
His name's Tommy. There's a moment in which, in this movie that was probably cut out, in which Tommy does start to question his sanity. Because that would make sense if he was starting to question himself, and then
Right.
Walter was like, just stay in it, man. Don't lose it. But
Right.
up until this point, he has not questioned his sanity once.
Not once. Not the shit. Not even at the end.
No. Yeah.
But when he wakes up from his drunken stupor, day 27. Walter is gone. He's been picked up by the crew, and he's told that he needs to leave this area because it's gotten boring. He's made it to day 30. But him just hanging out around the homeless encampments, boring the viewers. So he needs to leave the area to find a limousine, and then the lady starts walking, and he goes, "You follow that lady." So it's like, oh, okay, so now they're leading him. They're telling him where to go. He ends up finding the limo after running from a cowboy, and I think it was one other person trying to kill him. And who's in the limo once again? Andy Samberg. I thought it was crazy that he found the limo by walking on a fence, slipping and falling, and when he looks up, the limo's right there.
Again, another nod that this is all a hallucination.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Because there's no reason that limo should be there unless they have like some sort of like eye of God over the entire area that can see where he is at all times.
Well, I mean, shoot, even consider he didn't know where he was. He slipped and fell behind that gate.
Yeah.
He wasn't going that way.
It was complete happenstance. Yeah.
But once again, Andy Samberg is in the limo and he asks him, does he want to quit or does he want to continue? And I'm thinking, well, he done did it for 30 days, so I'm pretty sure this jerk's going to continue. And he continues. He makes it back into the interview room after running away from every possible hunter that he could find. What was that?
I have no idea.
That's weird.
Is that you, Mike?
About that.
Oh, okay. It was him.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Ooh, man. I'm like,
they're after us.
We're gonna stop talking about this movie. So I was telling y'all about, you know, when you lift in the 10-pound weight, it's gonna be heavier than when you lift for 20 pounds. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, he continues and he makes it into the interview room after running from all the hunters that are chasing him through the warehouse because he's back at the same warehouse. He monologues in an angry way about how bad it is that he got played and he wants his money because he did the work and he did everything. And you see the background starting to disorient as he spins in a circle. And this is when I too was like, oh, okay, they're going to say that he lost it. Nope, they don't. After he goes off for a minute, they all pop out from behind the corner and the whole game team is happy and cheering. And they all come, they tell him the truth that he won the game and they're proud of him and yada, yada, yada. Also, crazy moment. Like, this is normally not what happens in real life.
Right. Still possibly crazy at this moment. He could be hallucinating all these people. Yeah.
And then he is given an envelope full of Greenlandic currency, which, trust me, I have the conversion rates for you, fellas. And then so he's from there, we see him go straight to sitting down with his family. And they're asking, are you a millionaire? He's explaining to them everything that happened. He tells them, yes, I have the money, but there is a twist. And the twist is that they'll only be paying him $4,000 for 250 months. And Wayne Brady is assisting him to break all of this to his parents.
That's what killed the movie.
Wayne Brady?
Yes, because Wayne Brady being seen by his family
solidifies
that he's not crazy.
Yeah, which is what...
If he wasn't in that scene, you could still argue that he was insane.
Crazy at the end of all this. Yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
After all of that and explaining that to his family, how the money really works, he goes to see Maddie, and before he knocks on the door, the movie ends. Now, really quick. So $4,000 over 250 months. So I had to figure out, was he given $1 million cash and the amount of Danish krones, or was he given 1 million Danish krones and whatever amount that transfers to is what he gets in US cash? So if he got $1 million and that's what it's supposed to translate into, that means they gave him in that little one briefcase $6,875.61 in Danish krone for $1 million USD. However, if they gave him 1 million Danish krone, he only made $146,824 USD.
Yeah,
which is still more than he would have made even at that crappy job.
It's not a bad payday, that's for sure. But
are you really risking your life for that?
That's a big difference from 1 million to 124K.
He just got his tooth knocked out. That was the only thing that ever happened to him.
And that's what he ended up spending all the money on.
That's true, right?
Getting his teeth did.
Yeah,
he got an implant. Yeah,
Ellen DeGeneres knocked it out.
I remember that. I don't remember him saying that that's what he was going to spend his money on. That's funny though. But yeah, so
why would Maddie want to be with him? Was she into him?
It seemed they tried to make it seem like she was into him. Yeah.
I guess.
I don't know how genuine it was, but she was into him enough.
I think
she spent the nights with him.
So watch this. I think that's why mom like bring the pillow and shoving it in between them, because maybe she knows that Maddie has a type and a timeline. So she's gonna
Yeah.
mom meets this guy this week, but he won't be around because Maddie has commitment issues. Maybe.
Right. Yeah, because she's obviously a crazy person too, because only a crazy person would indulge that type of thing. Like her
Because she was
premise
cool
is
with it.
her whole premise was, I just thought you were hallucinating or making this all up, and I was
Hmm.
playing along with you, which is an
Yeah.
awful thing to do, first of all. But then she
Right.
realizes that it's real, and then she's like, I'm out. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
And I think two things happen also even before they go to meet Charlie. One, he gets her out of her mom's house into the hotel room. Don't make no moves on her. I feel like she was kind of having a reaction to that. And then the Mario dude, the plumber or the maintenance guy,
Right.
and he was like, after her and him found an understanding, he apologized and was walking away. This dude was just being a total ass about it.
Well, that, and she just realized that, oh man, maybe this isn't as fake as I thought it was.
Because he
Yeah.
definitely like his reaction let her know, like, oh, to him it's as real as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they kind of fumbled the bag there a little bit.
I can understand, and I actually agree on that note.
Yeah.
What we got is what we got, but on that note, I totally agree.
For sure.
Well,
and that is
with
what we
that,
got.
Yeah. So,
All right.
question is, do you want $146,000 or do you want 6,810 Danish krone?
I mean, if obviously that would be $1 million US, so you'd want to go with that one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Again, the whole twist of it being a money that's very devalued, and then having nothing to show for it. Like the movie, again, the movie is just telling us that it's not real.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, no, it happened because Wayne Brady is here, and his family sees Wayne Brady.
Right. And you think to yourself, if he had a decent job, two things. One, probably could have just hired Wayne Brady to come talk to his family. One. Two, might have enough money saved up, and whatever his career path is, suppose he's a college graduate or something, right? He has a specific field. You go back into that field, maybe the base salary is $4,000 a month. So going to your point is like, so his life is what he's
Hasn't
quoting.
changed
Oh,
at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. It hasn't changed one bit, except that he lost a tooth. That's pretty much it.
Which,
And
the way he
now
was
he's
going
got
bars and stuff probably would have happened anyway.
Yeah, now he's got a girlfriend, I guess.
Nah, I
Maybe.
don't think she answered that door.
I don't think she answered that door either.
Mm.
She did not want anything to do with him after that.
Look, Biff Whiff gonna answer that door.
Right. Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Man, I
All right,
like how
Jen.
Andy Samberg picks him up the second time. He's like, "You want to continue still? Really?
Yeah.
You're a little
I like
right.
how Andy
Can you roll the
Samberg is
window down?"
Yeah.
Right. I like how Andy Samberg is third in billing and only in this movie for about 2 minutes.
Right.
Oh yeah. Well, he produced it. So
I was just about
makes
saying
sense.
that's what happens when your production company is running
Mhm.
things.
Yeah. All right, gents. Well, let's do our ratings. I can go first since I picked this one. I'm going to give this. I'm going to give it a 5.5. I wanted to give it a 6, but I don't think that it deserves a 6. It could have been as much as a 7 if they had just stuck with what they had set up throughout the entire movie. I would have been happy giving it a 7, but I just don't feel like the cop out at the end makes any of the previous parts of the movie feel good. It all feels like there's more questions now than were answered. So yeah, I'm at a 5.5. I think it's a decent movie. I think you'll enjoy it. It's short. You'll probably laugh a few times. It's an interesting new idea. It's kind of fresh. It has sort of some romantic elements to it, which I was fine with. But I think the ending it just cripples it from getting any higher of a score for me. So 5.5 for me.
Sounds good.
What about you, Keelan?
Yeah, for me, I'm giving it a 5 flat. I liked it. It was smooth. Nothing impressive, but the originality is there. I'm with Nick. There, this story could have went multiple ways. I do feel like the better version of this would have been the mental health aspect. At the same time, I understand how touchy that topic could be, especially in today's world when you're just trying to get a piece that you actually believe in pushed. So I could see the obstacle that was run up against with that, but at the same time, I could also see how it may have hurt the material that did produce. But overall, I gave it a 5 flat, and I recommend it honestly.
Yeah, that's fair. Mike, what did you give it?
You know what? Originally coming into this, I was gonna give it a 6.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was gonna give it a 6, but after talking about it with you guys, I can't.
Right.
I can't. It dropped down quite a bit for me.
Mm.
After all the discussion, all the holes you guys poked in it, I'm like, damn. I still liked it, but I can't in good conscience give it the same rating because I realize how much of a letdown it really is when you started to kind of point out the fact that, you know, obviously they changed some of the script around because it just makes it make when you said it, it made it make more sense to me in my head after watching it because it's a decent film, but then you realize, they definitely had to edit some of this stuff out for this to all really make sense.
Yeah.
I mean, the mental gymnastics you have to do don't ruin the movie, though.
Right. So to be fair, I gotta bump it down to a 4.
Oof. Damn.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe we were too effective in our critique.
I'm about to say we don't want to do that.
Well,
we did say we still like this.
Yes, I did. But after hearing that, especially after the Anna Kendrick character, I was genuinely thinking like she was a decent in character as far as the movie goes. And then when you point out the fact that I knew she was a liar for sure. But then you point out to the fact that she's probably a little nutso. Her mom's a little of an enabler. And then she's probably not going to be there when he knocks on the door. It's like, damn, that all makes sense too.
Yeah.
I don't like this movie anymore.
Knocks on the door. Somebody else answers the door. Who?
Right. He's already got a new boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, that puts our score somewhere around a 5.
About a 4.8.
4.8. Yeah. All right. Well, that's cool. I think it's fine that right there. It's again, I think they could have made it probably a couple points better in my book if they had just kept with this this theme that they were building the entire movie and then they sort of rug pull from you. So, like sometimes that works and sometimes it's not good to subvert expectations that you've set up during the entire movie. So, 4.8 is fine. Anything else, James?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I will say because of the way this movie went, for what it's worth and what it is, if we remove some of our critique, Mike's original score is probably real ballpark. But when you add the nuance of critique, the nuance of opinion and desire,
I would have been more comfortable with the 6 if Wayne Brady wasn't in the last scene.
Those just the smallest things, and keeping in mind that even with Wayne Brady being in the last scene, it's like I see how that ties up what they needed to, but I also see how it shuts down.
What it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's such a, and that's why I say like it's an interesting seesaw for this rating.
It was so easy for them to leave it ambiguous. That's kind of the problem with that's the failure in my book. Again, just don't put Wayne Brady in the last scene and it can still be ambiguous as to whether it happened at all or not.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, we are going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate all of you out there. We hope that you enjoyed this review. What did you guys think of Self-Reliance? Let us know in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What do you rate it? Let us know. You can also stay tuned for Wednesdays and Sundays here at the Screen Time Continuum. We're here around 9 p.m. Every Wednesday and Sunday. But we also have a catalog of episodes and stuff that you can watch here. If Numbers Could Talk, Keelan has that and the archive. Also in the archive is Exofathom and This Married Moment. If you want to go see what Mike does on Twitch, he streams live very regularly at king_of_Ilion on Twitch. And we also have Strawberries and Coffee with Dejan on Twitch as well. So make sure you go check both of them out. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know when they go live. And come back here on Sunday or Wednesday or one of the days that we'll be here. I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm sure we're going to be reviewing something awesome. And yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks, Keelan. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, brother.
And yeah, we appreciate all of you out there. So until next time, for the Screen Time Continuum, I am Nick.
I am Keelan.
And I'm Mike.
Good night.
And remember, rely on yourself. Oh, should I have burned that up? Did we gloss over that? You know, the intent of this movie when you're going through these hard things, pick yourself up by the bootstraps.
I'm gonna say rely on drugs that the doctor prescribed.
Please don't.